It is half-term for a lot of people, if not everyone. What do we do, Simon? What do we need to do to avoid traffic chaos? What are we expecting?
OK, well, good luck, everybody, is the first thing to say.
No.
Yes, many schools across the UK breaking up for the half-term holiday today, and you can absolutely be certain that there will be families flocking to Dover and Folkestone because they will be heading off to the Alps, maybe to Disneyland Paris, maybe even to the south of France in their cars. Now, for once, the travel gods seem to be smiling, at least going outbound, because there was a big close down of Calais port yesterday, but it is now up and running with ships sailing normally between the two. Still a backup of trucks there, but if you're travelling by car, it should be OK. The problem is going to be when you come back, because it's a strike by 1,000 UK Border Force officers working for the PCS union. Now, we've talked about this just before Christmas when they began a 10-day strike. But this one is different. It is aimed squarely at the so-called juxtaposed border controls in France. So that's the Port of Calais, Eurotunnel terminal at Coquelles, and the Port of Dunkirk as well. And you've normally got UK Border Force staff there who check everything. So effectively you get through and you're in the UK. They, or 1,000 of them, will be walking out. And, well, yesterday, the Home Office said, be prepared for disruption. It could be very tricky out there.
It's always at half term as well, isn't it? But if you don't want...
I'm so sorry. Just say, and that's coming back, and it's the 17th, 18th, 19th, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
So you can get there, you just can't come home, which I suppose might be a good thing. An extra couple of days holiday.
Well, yes, but as long as you don't have to spend it just queuing up for passport control. Difficult to say. They've got contingency measures in place, which will include having non-striking officers from the UK, typically from places like Gatwick Airport, sent out to cover, and that will then possibly mean you have military people at airports actually inside the UK.
I was going to say, because we've got a plethora of spare staff at the moment, haven't we?
And so therefore they're warning that it could be disruption elsewhere.
All right. What about staycations then?
Yeah, well, they're going to be first of all quite expensive, but secondly, next weekend again, and this is the end of the half term for a lot of people. Some schools it's the beginning of the half term, but you will not be able to travel direct from Scotland to London by train. They're closing both the East Coast and the West Coast main line for engineering works. Network Rail blaming bad weather, flooding and strikes. They say they've got a backlog because of the many rail disputes. One bit of good news on the horizon, if you are travelling by train, as I do, there are no strikes at the moment that are planned.
OK, that's the mode of transport then.
I'm just seeing a note, Simon, to say, ask about London to Geneva flight prices.
Oh, my goodness. I've just been doing some work this morning to see if you thought, we haven't booked anything, we've got to get away, let's just go skiing. Well, that's a good idea, but I've just checked and you are at Concorde levels of pricing per mile. EasyJet flying out tomorrow from Gatwick, middle of the day, coming back middle of the day a week later, £1,336 return. That's without luggage. That's £1.50 a mile. That's the same price that Concorde was charging before it was closed down 20 years ago. But you're not travelling supersonic and you're not getting champagne on your flight. There is one deal, though, which I found. London to Madrid tomorrow on Iberia, £125 return, coming back a week later. And if you're in Madrid, you can just hop on the train, head down to Malaga.
Yeah,
that's perfect.